Hello there everybody, it's Spawn92 AK Nightmare, and I am recording this just a little bit early. This will go up on the normal time, but I went ahead and decided to go ahead and just, finish this up, basically, since we've only got about 4 episodes left. Also, I was kind of a little bit still attached to what the hell just happened in the previous episode. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and just record these last 4 episodes ahead of time because I want to keep everything, inside my fucking brain before it explodes. Also, I could not wait a week, but I am still going to upload this at the normal time, as I'm sure you guys are already noticing. So, as you can clearly see right here, also, bitchin' outfit, pretty good. Seriously, the fashion sense in this show is fantastic. I love the outfits, okay? So, Lelouch has officially, I guess, kind of taken over Britannia, and also got rid of his immortal father and plotting mother. Oh yeah, also Suzaku is now is now with him, which can only give me one idea. It would mean the reason that Suzaku is actually working alongside Lelouch means that Lelouch has come up with some sort of plan that Suzaku actually supports. What that plan is, I don't know yet. But now, I had to take some time to go ahead and think about this myself. So, I asked a question in the previous episode. If I were Lelouch, what would I do? Well, he's taken his place as basically this supposed ruler of Britannia, but all he has to do now is get rid of Schneisel and all of that, but I'm not entirely sure he's going to be able to actually come up with some sort of, foolproof idea to actually unite the world. Because obviously, everybody, specifically the people in the Black Knights and Schneisel, they know he has the Geass. There's no freaking way that they would ever trust him. They might have to go inside the building, making sure they're wearing sunglasses so they don't actually. Actually, does the Geass? Actually, I already answered my question, because it can't be done through the helmet, which means that stuff that block your eyes, like sunglasses, might be able to cancel out the Geass itself. I think. But, like I said, he's not really in a position to be trusted, right? So, and I'm also trying to rule out using Geass on everybody to make them submit to your will, because that's not gonna work. I can guarantee that will not work. At least from a storytelling perspective, I really do not think that would work. That would just make Lelouch completely the villain of the entire story. Which, with that line of thinking, got me into thinking of a. Well, I also had to factor in Suzaku's personality and all this. Why not a. God, I was having a hard time trying to word this. Why not have like a plan of a martyr or something like that? I mean, if you think about it, Lelouch is in a position where he can be deemed the ultimate evil in the world because he has the power to make people submit to his will. Obviously, there's gonna be a lot of people that do not want to support that, right? Hell, that sounds like something that the entire world would be going up against. I mean, I don't know. So let's just throw ourselves back in. I fucking called it! I knew not only was alive! Oh, that is the worst way to find out, though. Oh. Okay, good job, Schneisel. Good job. Oh God, and now she even knows about Lelouch and says, "Oh no." Oh. Well, Lelouch, you're gonna do a good job trying to make a world where Nunnally can be happy because congratulations, she now knows that you're evil. I think. I don't know. Holy fuck! Oh God. Congratulations, you've successfully made yourself the villain of not only the entire world, but I'm guessing even your own little sister, who you did all of this for! Oh my God! Damn! starting to look like the martyr's path is really the only thing he's got left for him. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Okay, so let's digest that for a second here. Colin basically just said her final farewell to Lelouch. They just exchanged their last goodbyes. Schneisel has custody of all the Flayas. So, great. That's nice. Oh, boy. Okay. 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 I need to jump into the next episode before my brain implodes at this point, because I need to go. Okay, now we're in the next episode, and Nunnally is, in fact, alive. I fucking called it, although my reasoning was lackluster, to say the least. But I called it. She is alive. And, Great. Okay, worst way to figure out that Nunnally is still alive now that, she sees Suzaku and Lelouch as enemies. Just fucking fan-dibby-dabby-tastic. Also, Lelouch successfully made himself the enemy of the entire world, and my theory is that, realistically, if he does this, the only thing that can possibly work is, he's technically making himself the enemy of the world, and ironically, this might, convince the world to finally work together in some instance, or something like that. And that just kind of leads me to the only obvious answer that I could think of, is that he would have to become a martyr. It's a very messed up way of making the world unite in camaraderie and being good and all that good happy stuff, but God! Okay. Let's just go. Okay, so let's digest what the hell we just witnessed. First things first, the battle between Lelouch and Schneisel has finally begun. Well, I guess in a sense, it's never really ended, but it finally just started. Lelouch is already backed into a corner. And Nunnally has fired a Flaya, which is going to kill a lot of people, and a little... I hate the idea of Nunnally being the result of people dying. I hate that idea. Someone like her does not deserve to have that on her conscience. But the fact that she's prepared for it just kind of shows you that she's not a weak girl despite being crippled. She's not weak. That's what I'm just trying to get at. So I'm not entirely sure how Lelouch is going to get himself out of this one. He's already used his old tactics of sacrificing his own units. And good job, Schneisel. You've successfully became high tier hatred, low tier on the list of likable. But I'm not entirely sure how they're going to be able to handle that flare that was fired. That just seemed way too devastating. I'm not entirely sure what exactly Lelouch's plan was to keep firing at the Flaya. I'm guessing by doing that it lowers the efficiency, or at least the power of it, I imagine. I'm not entirely sure. Also, for once, Tamaki was useful. Good job, Tamaki! Oh, also, Valletta's pregnant. So yeah, that's a thing. Yep. Huh. I did not see that coming. I knew that Ogi and Valletta had a bit of a relationship going on. I did not expect them to do the reverse polka and have a child. Ogi, okay, you may be part of the enemies now, Ogi, but you better live so you can be a good dad. Okay? You gotta make sure of that. Just making sure. Also, Schneisel seemed to hesitate not at all. Did not hesitate at all to shoot his own sister. God! I hated Charles because I thought I thought he was the one that murdered, but no, that one was V2 and all that, but Yeah, good job. I take back what I said about Schneisel being a good character. Congratulations, Schneisel, you are terrible! But gotta give style points to Tamaki for at least doing something useful on that one, so there's some good news there. Okay, we're getting down to the last two episodes, and it's getting more intense, and I'm not entirely sure I'm going to be prepared for it, but let's just jump right in and see how that goes. Oh boy. Okay, guys, we are now in the final two episodes, and I'm not entirely sure what to make of what's going to happen. I mean, shit's going down, Valletta's pregnant, and Nunnally fired a warhead. Great. Got one of the most innocent characters firing a nuclear warhead that could cause a lot of death, and I mean, she says that she's strong enough to handle it, which I just okay. I am still of the mindset, because the story's already kind of portraying it in this light, that Lelouch is basically becoming the enemy of the enemy of the world. And ironically, it's forcing people to kind of, team up. So that means that there's really only one obstacle to completely get rid of at this point before my theory can be proven. If he can somehow find some way to get rid of Schneisel, because obviously his mentality of ruling through fear is god-awful and just terrible, then the only other thing I could possibly think of to... Ow! Afraid there's a freaking cat in my lap. She freaking bit me. The only way I can possibly think of that could actually work out in this regard, if he gets rid of Schneisel, then really Lelouch is the only one that's left. So, I mean, it kind of puts me in the mind that he might have to do I'll just say it again, make himself a martyr, because if he gets rid of the only opposing force, that means he's successfully got the world under his thumb, but it makes everybody else view him as basically the ultimate evil that must be gotten rid of. So he would probably end up doing something that would basically secure, the whole world being together and making himself the ultimate evil that needs to be getting rid of. What I'm trying to say, or at least with my theory, I think Lelouch is going to somehow get himself killed. Or he's going to sacrifice himself in some sense. That's the only thing I could possibly think of. Oh boy. Next episode's the last one. And Nunnally broke Charles' Geass and opened her eyes. Oh boy. This is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt a lot. Okay. On a positive note, he's made Schneisel now serve... Wait a minute. Said to serve 0. Kind of an odd... Kind of an odd choice of words there, didn't it? Wasn't it? I mean, he made everybody bow down to him as the emperor and all that, or acknowledge me! But this time he's making Schneisel serve 0 specifically. Okay. How's that gonna work? Okay. Final episode's upon us now. And I'm not entirely sure I'm ready for what I'm about to see. I'm not sure if I'm ready if my theory is actually correct, if he's going to choose the path of the martyr or the path of the conqueror. I still think that I don't know. But the one thing I'm afraid of is that he might resort to using the Geass on his little sister, which is one thing I never thought that he would be capable of doing. Only one way to find out. So I will see you guys in the final episode of Code Geass. See you there. Alright. We are now in the final episode of Code Geass, and I just realized that there were a couple of things that I forgot to kind of bring up in the previous episode. Another thing, Cornelia is still alive, which, good, good. Good lord, this show does a good job of making me hate and then like certain characters. It keeps just changing my opinions way too much. Maybe that's because I'm a terrible person, or apparently. I don't know. Also, Guilford's still alive, which is also good. Even though he's wearing sunglasses, so that makes me wonder how much damage did the Leia do to him. I hope it's not too much, but... Well, at least Guilford and, Cornelia are reunited once again, and that's good. At least to me it is. Also, I called it. I fucking called it. Nunnally's eyes are now open as she has broken free from Charles Geass on her own will, which the only other time I think I've seen a character that's broken from a Geass, or almost. No, actually she didn't break from it. She was just, she actually had a lot of willpower to resist against it, and that was Euphemia. Which, damn. That's pretty good, I guess. Also, Schneisel is now basically been submitted to work for Zero, which I'm still kind of weirded out by his choice of words, as in, instead of submit to my will, it was, you will now serve Zero. It feels like that word choice was intentional. I don't know, but, this was a long journey into the show. I'm kind of sad that I'm ending it here, but it's okay. All good things must come to an end. So, one last time, let's see if my theory plays out. Oh my god. Sorry, I got stunned into silence because that was just... Oh my god, that was... Well... Well, I guess I better address everything that happened. Okay. So that was the Zero Requiem. Making himself to be the ultimate evil in the world and then dying. By the hand of his best friend. Well, that was certainly one way to make the world unite. By making yourself the pillar of evil just to blame everything on so the world can move forward, and that's a hell of a martyr's path, I will say. At least Nunnally can now have that happy future that you wanted for. And I think that's certainly one way of being a big brother. Make yourself the ultimate evil so the world will unite, and then sacrifice yourself for just because of how much you love your little sibling so that they would have a happier world. I'm sorry. I'm starting to laugh a little bit that Orange Coon was picking oranges. Oh my god. That was so perfect. Oh, that was awesome. Okay. So, overall final thoughts of Code Geass as a whole. One, I think I already brought this up, but what initially drew me into the show was obviously the use of mechs, but just Lelouch as his character. Seeing him plan out all of this stuff and being able to counteract, well, at least most, opponents. But just being able to see how his plans would go into motion and how they would work, as well as seeing, him fail and seeing how he handled it, because every time that he did fail, it actually showed what I felt were like good character moments, as well as good character flaws. Which, again, made me like the majority of the cast in the show, which, good job, you made me like the majority of the cast. I do need to address one thing. There was something about how the ending of this show brought out a misconception among the fan base. I'm not entirely sure what misconception they were talking about. I mean, it seemed pretty clear-cut how the ending was supposed to be. I mean, I don't see how you could misconstrue... I'm not even entirely sure what exactly was misconstrued. I'm pretty sure somebody will bring this up in the comments down below, but... I mean, I like I said, I'm not entirely sure what... I mean, Lelouch basically died by becoming, the symbol of evil, specifically for the world to, unite, and just he took the path of a martyr, and it's good that he did so. At least that's what that's just my personal thoughts from this. That's what I got from this. Also, man, Valletta, that child grew within a really, well, just damn. Also, Suzaku faking his death to don the mask of Zero. That is certainly one, that is, damn. I think that's actually a pretty good idea, considering they saw Suzaku was working with Lelouch, so I highly doubt that they would be so willing to accept Suzaku as the savior that basically killed everybody. Or, I'm sorry, saved the world. How the fuck did he escape his mech from exploding? I didn't see the hatch, I did not see his hatch eject, unless he used his Geass to live to suddenly survive the explosion. I'm not entirely sure how the hell he managed to pull that off, but... Anyway... Overall, this show, it was really good. I'm kind of happy that I was able to predict some things, but then I kind of got upset when there were certain things that I did predict and not, pan out the way I was hoping. But that's okay. That's okay. Even the goofball Tamaki got a moment to shine, that was pretty good. That was good. Out of 99% of his fuck-ups, 1% time, he did a good job in helping save Ogi. Good job, Tamaki. Good job. That was a very nice resolution at the end, though. And I like that. Also, looks like C2 is still immortal, and looks like she gets to roam the world with probably a better mindset now. Which, that's good, I think. Now, talking about some of the negative stuff in this show that I did find out, I will admit that the fan service was one problem that I was having a little bit of issue with. But Season 2 seemed to do a very good job and did not rely heavily on that and focused significantly more on the story itself, and that's why I'm gonna say I like Season 2 infinitely more than I did like Season 1. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still like Season 1, but if you could just get rid of some of those other little moments, like if you could find a cut where it doesn't have all that stuff, I would probably watch that infinitely more. But overall, Code Geass possibly it was a really good show, and I genuinely enjoyed it, and I loved it. The characters were good, the story was great, the mechs were awesome, and some of the fight scenes were very well choreographed, and I thought that one final fight with Suzaku and Colin, that was a really well done fight. Then again, I'm terrible at being a critic, I admit. So I couldn't really come up with any negative points because I'm not a critic. But overall, I'd say if I had to give this show a final score, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. And that's being generous considering all of the fan service that I had to deal with. If it didn't have that, I would probably score it a 9. But overall, this was a very, very good show, and I'm glad that this was actually voted for, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. And it was honestly a lot of fun being able to, experience it. So, other than that, what show comes after this? Well, I'm sure you guys will see. I already mentioned it in one of my other videos, but I'm sure it might be a show that you guys will like, but I was told one specific thing about it. I think I was told specifically that it's best to only stick with Season 1 of this particular show, so that's probably what I'm going to do. But we'll just see. Anyway, if you guys like this series, be sure to let me know. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week when we get started on our new show. So, thank you all so much for joining me on this. And could somebody kind of, explain the whole controversy that I apparently did not get? So I could kind of share my thoughts on that? Please do so in the comments down below if you need to. Or if you're watching this on Google Drive, just top into the reaction compilation video and then just kind of help me understand what misconception that was brought up by this particular episode. So that way I can also, if I myself accidentally fell into that misconception or not. So that way I can kind of correct it and then just, figure that out. But anyway, thank you all so much for joining me on this series. I thoroughly loved it. except for the moment. But I will see you guys in the next video.